I want to start with some shocking news. You are not a robot. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you are not a robot. And what that means is you cannot just be programmed to do something like a computer can. You can't just download some software, implement some new hardware, and you're just rocking and rolling. And so what this means is you can't just program yourself to, eat a certain way despite everything in you screaming, I don't want to eat this way. Okay? The fact that you are not a robot is why meal plans and diets don't work. In fact, 95% of dieters regain all the weight that they lost within a couple years of initially losing it. And we don't want to end up there. So how do you end up like the 5% of people that are successful at losing weight and keeping it off? Because you can lose weight and you can keep it off. So how do you end up like the 5%? Well, I think the first thing is important to recognize the fact, it sounds silly, but recognize the fact that you are not a robot, okay? And so you are similar to other humans, right? But you are unique in that you have your own preferences, your own schedule, your own lifestyle. Your body responds differently to different things. And you've got your own relationship with food. You've got your own habits from the past that you got from your childhood and just however long you lived to this point. And so you are unique. That is the most important thing to start with. And so by recognizing that, we understand that doing just some meal plan or diet that you pull off the internet is not the approach we want to take. So what do we want to do when it comes to weight loss? Well, they're my two favorite approaches, and really the only two approaches that I use, or at least 80 to 90% of the time, are option number one, tracking calories and protein, and option number two, taking a habit-based approach. So let's dive into each one. So first is tracking calories and protein. The reality is, tracking your calories and protein is hands down the most effective way to lose weight. Like if you're like, I want to lose weight, I want to lose it now, and I'm so serious of this, I'm tired of carrying on this extra weight, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to lose this weight, this is going to be how you do it. Tracking calories and protein is the most effective way. The upside of tracking calories and protein is that it works very well every single time. In fact, I've never had a client come to me and say, Nate, I've been tracking calories and protein consistently now, and I'm not seeing results. It's never happened, and it won't happen because it works. The downside is that it does take a good bit of time, especially your first week or two of doing it. It's pretty time intensive. There's a lot of effort that goes into it as you're learning how to do it. Now, after that, you might spend 5 to 10 minutes a day. Another downside, though, is that you start thinking about food in numbers, and it's good to know, like, oh my goodness, these Pop-Tarts I've been eating have 400 calories. Like, my goodness, it's good to know things like that, but it can lead to you thinking about food just as numbers and a calculation, and wow, that is how you lose weight, is by creating a calorie deficit that can become unhealthy. The second approach is a much simpler and I would say almost as effective approach, and that is a habit-based approach. And so with this, you are basically just choosing 1 to 3. You're identifying the top 1 to 3 changes that you can make to your eating habits that will make a big impact. They'll make the biggest impact on your weight loss. So for example, if you're drinking 4 sodas a day, you can just commit to cutting that down to 2 a day or 1 a day. If you're not eating protein at every meal, you can commit to eating protein at every meal. If you're not drinking enough water, you can drink more water. If you are not sleeping enough and you're stressed, that can lead you to overeat because you're stressed. Your body wants food because it does help with stress, but it'd be better to get some sleep. So we can say, hey, we're gonna get some extra sleep tonight. You could eat an extra cup of vegetables. These are just examples, but you basically yourself or with your coach, the person coaching you through nutrition, would identify which 1 to 3 habits or changes can we make to our habits that are going to have the biggest impact on weight loss? Okay, so it's important to recognize you are not a robot, okay? You need an approach that's tailored to you. And my two favorite approaches are tracking calories and protein, because it's pretty simple, it's very effective, and it can be tailored to the individual. Everybody has their own, individual calorie and protein needs. And then the second option is a simpler and almost as effective method, which is focusing on habits. And one more note I'd like to add is, whichever you choose, commit to it, take action, and then measure. Like if you're wanting to lose weight, weigh yourself. And weight is not a perfect measure of progress, but it is effective. If you lose 20 pounds, you know that something's going on, okay? There are water weight fluctuations, couple pounds up, couple pounds down, that happens. But if you're losing 10, 15, 20 plus pounds, that's not water weight. You're doing something really significant there. So yeah, guys, just recognize you're not a robot, okay? Stop trying to, force, what do they say? A square peg into a round hole. Don't do that, okay? Recognize that you have your own unique needs and preferences. And then based on that, choose one of those two approaches and try it and see which one you like better. See if you like tracking calories and protein. See if you like taking a habit-based approach. And then, most importantly, measure your progress. Measure the change you're wanting to see so that you can decide if what you're doing is effective or not.